Welcome to the Pathmonk Presents podcast. My name is Sean Donnelly Lewis, and I'm really excited about our episode today. Today, I'm speaking with Chris Dreyer, and he is the CEO of Rankings.io. Chris, how's it going, man?
It's going really well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. You said before you're totally rocked out with the Joe Rogan stuff. I'm loving it. So let's just jump in. Rankings.io. What is it? What do you guys do?
Yeah, the short answer is we help elite personal injury attorneys dominate first page rankings. So we're an SEO only agency and we only work with personal injury law firms.
Okay, gosh, that's a very niche thing. Yeah, so thinking about growth, then how have you guys been able to grow? Has it been referrals? Has it been just using SEO, drinking your own Kool-Aid? Or are you more inbound driven?
That's a great question. When we started, I think it's important for the audience to know that we weren't just a personal injury SEO agency. We actually were I'm doing air quotes here, full service digital marketing agency where we did basically anything to generate revenue, very scrappy at the beginning. And primarily they fell into SEO, PPC, and design. And at the end of a few years, looking at the P&L, looking at our margins, and also that Venn diagram of purpose, passion, and best at, we fell in the Venn diagram right in the center for SEO. And we decided to eliminate the other services, refer out all of that business. We could have went the white label route and just decided against it. And we focused on SEO for all law firms. After a few more years, we looked at our P&L again. We looked at the stats and found that 70% of our revenue was from less than 40% of our clientele, which was personal injury law firms. That was a big positioning change in terms of how did we make money? How did we grow? How did we get these leads? In the beginning, I was very intentional about referrals. We had no brand. We had no marketing. I was trying to take the other services, the things that other agencies didn't want. Okay. I think that's a great place for any agency to start. And I was very intentional. I read this book called The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes. Talks about creating your Dream 100 clientele list. And I thought, why would any of these customers want to work with us? We don't really have a brand or reviews or testimonials. So I created the Dream 100 referral partner list and was very intentional about nurturing relationships with other agencies that offered exclusivity or had situations where they could essentially be commission only outside sales reps. And that's how we grew. For 4 years, we had very little marketing. Up until the last 2 years, we've really put our foot on the pedal in terms of marketing, and we're doing everything. We're doing a podcast like this. We're doing Google ads and SEO and heavy social. We've done some mini acquisitions, buying other sites to drive traffic to our main. We do heavy on LinkedIn. We're really YouTube. We're connecting the dots on a lot of channels, a lot of awareness, but we didn't really do that until the last couple of years.
Okay, everyone's doing it now, right? So, I mean, yeah. But thinking about the website, has the website been also a client acquisition channel?
Yeah, for sure. We have ranked for SEO. Our head term is SEO for lawyers. We've ranked in the top position for years. Maybe we fluttered a little bit to that second or third, but we've ranked really dominant there. But not only so it itself, ranking organically has been a great benefit. But if you type in that head term, I actually own about 5 or 6 of the results on that first page. So it's really hard to miss a property that I don't own. And yeah, it's been a good conversion. It highlights our social proof. It has some case studies, very strategically written copywriting. We worked with an individual, Joel Kletke, a business casual copywriting that made our content compelling. When a user jumps on our site, we did a lot of studies for our competitors and how we could be different and really highlight our unique selling propositions. So it's absolutely been a channel for us.
And so the website normally for any marketeer is a source of great pride, but also a source of frustration. Just to put on the critical hat for a moment, if you feel like the website could improve, what would it be? Would it be the conversions? Would it be the quality of leads it generates? Would it be the user experience? Could it be even better? Which one of those three you think?
Geez, 3? There's so many. I think our conversions could be better. We don't have a phone number or live chat on the site. We really make our prospects crawl through glass going through the contact form. And there's some missing critical landing pages that are missing. One critical landing page. We don't have a landing page for our podcast, which is our main marketing flywheel. And I think that we could do a better job highlighting our social proof in terms of case studies and the results that we've actually generated for our clients. We have the results, we just don't have them on our site or as highlighted as well as we could.
And coming back to the service that you guys do, what you guys do in general, just for everyone listening, what would you say separates you guys from other people that occupy the same space? Or I don't know anything about the space. Are you guys alone in this space? But if not, what separates you guys? What do you guys do differently?
That's a great question. There are several differences. I'll just kind of jump right in. We only do SEO and we only work with personal injury law firms. We're the only agency I'm aware of that has that extreme focus. And because of that, we are true experts in this area. We're not in this jack of all trades, master of none situation. All of our employees are all rowing in the same direction in terms of improving their SEO skill set for personal injury law firms. We have month-to-month contracts, so we earn our keep every month. I know a lot of agencies will do long-term commitments, but I think when you do a long-term commitment, it's more the agency's benefit, not the business you're helping, because then they don't have to, generate results on a consistent basis. In terms of staffing, one big difference for us is most digital agencies will have a department for SEO, and they'll have SEO managers and SEO specialists. And those individuals are jack of all trades where they're doing content on page technical. Our span of control for our company is very wide, which lends itself to deep expertise. We have a content department, we have an on-page SEO department, a technical department, local link building, and we even separate communications from operations and have a specific account management department. All of that lends itself to deep expertise and the ability to scale very, very easily, very well.
And this is part of the show where I get to pick your brain a little bit, right? You're SEO guy. So I'm just going to stick with the marketing theme. And when it comes to marketing, when I say the word innovation, what would you say is the biggest challenge to continue to innovate in marketing?
Execution. It falls in line with entrepreneurs and wantrepreneurs. Everyone has all these brilliant ideas where they could become millionaires, but it's an execution. The execution portion of it is the challenge when it comes to innovation. And I can give you some examples. Let's talk about just how the landscape has changed for SEO, and where there are now billions of pages that already rank for the keyword that you may want to target, or millions. So what's different? It's no longer a production where I need to create the only piece that exists and it just needs to be created. There's now significantly more importance on content upgrades or refreshing your content. How do you staff in those types of situations? Because all of the strategic partners are all about production, not necessarily about improving quality. So you can have this great idea that, hey, I want a whole team just dedicated to just refreshing content for our clients. But how do I do that from an execution standpoint can be really challenging.
And thinking about ROI, return on investment, as a marketeer, right? I think this is a challenge. If you were to say the biggest challenge for a marketeer when it comes to ROI, what would you say it is?
Biggest challenge is generating value. There is a lot of competition, a lot of saturation, and it's more difficult to generate value in the traditional spaces, SEO, design, because a lot of these areas have been commoditized. Now in emerging markets, like let's say the YouTube shorts, TikTok, and just these emerging areas, there's less competition, so it's easier to provide value. You really have to have deep expertise in the areas that are extremely saturated.
And thinking about the marketing process as a whole, if you could focus on one area, what would it be? Would it be the road mapping? Would it be the growth initiatives? Would it be the marketing messaging? or the reporting? I mean, you're an SEO guy, so I assume I know which direction you're going to go. But which one do you feel is for you the thing?
Give me that one more time. Let me
The
dial
road
it.
mapping, right? The growth initiatives,
Mhm.
marketing messaging, or reporting? Which one of those four?
Oh, number one, absolutely.
Okay, the
The
road
growth
mapping.
initiatives.
Okay, growth initiatives.
One of my colleagues, Michael Mogul, has a saying that I love. It is, the best kept secret's broke, and best known is better than best every time. No one
What?
knows about you, they're not going to pay for you.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. What's the quote again? What does he say? I didn't
He
get it the
says
first time.
best known beats best every time, and the best kept secret is broke.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Nice way to put a bow on it. Just to switch gears here for a second, I wouldn't mind talking about you as a leader. What kind
Mhm.
of content do you consume to help educate yourself and grow as a person and as a professional?
I listen to podcasts almost daily. I listen all day today on Star all morning. I read a ton of books. I read 50 to 100 business books a year. I've been
Okay,
doing
nice.
that probably since I started my business. YouTube. I mean, I would say my main are podcasts and books. I
All
also,
right,
I've got a coach. I'm in masterminds. So a little bit of all.
nice. And so, since we're slowly coming to the end of the interview, we have a couple more things to do. And one of these is the rapid fire. So these are just short and sweet questions. You can answer them, but try and answer them honestly. I don't, nobody likes a fibber.
Okay.
Speaking of books, what was the last book that you read?
Last book I read was, geez, what was it? It was, I think, an old Zig Ziglar book. I can't remember the title of it, but I picked up a Zig Ziglar book.
All right. What is the one thing that your company is focused on at the moment the most?
Our link building department, we just hired a new link building manager, and we're dialing in. We spend a lot of money through strategic partners on link acquisition and just dialing in on who's the best, who can serve our clients in the best manner.
If there were no boundaries in technology, none at all, what would be the one thing you want to have fixed for your company today?
Jeez, no boundaries.
And sometimes with
I
these
would
questions,
love, so in terms of technology, I would love to have a whole department for webinars. I would really like to get into that game.
okay.
Maybe that's not answering it exactly where you're going, but I would love to add that channel to our marketing initiatives because it's a great way. It's probably the best way to build an email list because you can have your guest influencers. You can kind of piggyback off of their list during the promotion for the signups. It's just a tremendous way to build an email list.
And what's the last thing that kept you awake at night about your company?
Oh, geez. I don't even know if I want to share this. Let's see. Uh, Geez. Last thing that kept me awake is we had a client that we did tremendous for. They were with us for 3 years, and just out of the blue, we're discontent. And even though they were dominating their search results, they had unrealistic expectations of wanting to rank in a market that they didn't have a business, an actual physical address in that location. And we just could never um, convince that individual what we were saying was true, even though we worked together for many years and ended up losing a pretty high dollar client, which is unfortunate. So that was one of the ones that I kind of took personally, that maybe that we didn't set expectations well enough. Maybe we didn't educate them well enough in a situation that was just unrealistic.
If you were to start the company over again, what would be the one piece of advice you give yourself?
Invest more in marketing early. I would dedicate at least 10 to 15% of your top line revenue to marketing right out of the gate.
Okay, very interesting. All right, that was Chris Dreyer at rankings.io. Check out all the work that they're doing there. Chris, thank you so much for being on the show today. The last thing on the show is the last word. So it's all you. So if you want to sum up everything that we talked about today, or if there's something that we forgot, yeah, I just want to give you the last word. The floor is yours.
Great. Yeah. So I think that we all have to remember that gone are the days where location is as important as it once was, because everyone has in their arms reach their mobile device, and all businesses are essentially on the same street. So it's more important than ever to think about what you can do to be different. How can you be different than everyone else on the same street? If you relate that to a lemonade stand and all the lemonade stands look the same, but then you're selling frozen lemonade, how much benefit could there be to being different?
Thanks for being on the show today, Chris.
Thanks a lot, Sean.